friends, señores, señoras, señoritas. How goes it? It is full time, and I am Max Bretos. Glad you could join me here as the summer of soccer has come to an end. All the incredible competition, the Women's World Cup, the Gold Cup, the Copa America, and yes, the African Cup of Nations. All gone. Congratulations to all the winners. Great memories. But now we got to get back to the normalcy of the leagues. And over the next few weeks, I will be doing some previews of the top leagues. We begin with the biggest league in the world, the best league in the world, the English Premier League. Hello. Would you Adam and... I could do a good London accent. Would you Adam and Eve it? I'll give you the old Jack and Ori. Sorry. There's more of that where that came from, though. I'll tell you that much. Okay, so we can argue about the English Premier League. I think we could argue a little bit more, but that has ceased after the year they just had. It wasn't that long ago when Leicester City won the Premier League, and England were not the best. I kind of turned the switch on the league. I go, these clubs cannot compete. Why is Leicester City? They had, two excellent players. I think we have Mahrez, best player in Africa, N'Golo Kante. And then a lot of guys who have kind of taken a step back in their careers. It was a one shining moment. What a story. But that showed the inefficiencies, the insufficiencies that the English league had. And the teams at the top went on to fix it. A, got great managers. B, developed good young players. C, very savvy inside the front office with how they spent money. Manchester City, I know they're crazy spenders. All of them really were meticulous in what they did. And they just created good, healthy locker rooms. I think Liverpool at the top of it. But the managers is the main difference, and that's why we are here. Managers make a huge difference, more so in this sport than many. With their vision, they can change a club from a mid-table to a good team. You need good players too, obviously. But the manager knows the right players, the right mixes. And that's why I think maybe the superstar players on a team, Neymar, Messi, and Cristiano Ronaldo, maybe we're moving away from having those teams built around those guys, the collective. The Premier League did overcome that and now resides at the top. So we will have a preview here. And basically in the preview, I'm going to go through the top four teams that I think are going to be in the important positions, the top four. The Premier League, if you had any other issues or any other questions about why they are the best, look at what happened last year. Manchester City is probably the best club of the bunch, had a historic Premier League win. Even Liverpool had one of the best finishes ever, and they finished second, a point behind. That Liverpool team was the champions of Europe. They played Tottenham Hotspur, another English team, in the Champions League final. In the second tier European competition, the Europa League, Chelsea won, and they beat Arsenal in the final. Are you kidding me? This is unprecedented, and it's going to get better. And I'll tell you this, there's a better... Remember we used to have the Big Four in England? Well, now it's the Big Six, and we have a better chance of it going to a Big Seven than we go back to a Big Five or Big Four again, because the money is so much. The money is so high. The money is immense. I think Everton is ready to make a push. Maybe West Ham, my club. We'll see. So here we are. There's going to be some surprises here. Remember how the Premier League ended last year? Manchester and City and Liverpool, 25 points ahead of the pack. And then 3 through 6 and 7 were actually very tightly packed. It was the best race, the third and fourth position heading into the final week of the season. Because of that gap, I think Manchester City and Liverpool, I'll let you know who's going to finish first, will remain in those spots. I think 3 through 6 will close the gap and maybe position them, one of those clubs, and I'm speaking of Arsenal, Chelsea, Manchester United, and who am I forgetting? Tottenham Hotspur, to possibly win the Premier League the following year. But this is where it stands. So here we go. Number 4, I got some notes here I'm going to follow. Number 4 is Manchester United. Yes, they were out of the Champions League positions. This is a team that I think... Look, one thing, they made a huge splash. They made a record transfer fee for Harry Maguire. And it was actually more money than Juventus spent for Matthias de Ligt, who is considered the best young defender in the world. Manchester United has to overpay, and they are paying for Harry Maguire. Now, one other thing I wanted to touch on that you will see in this top 4 about the English league is young English players are at a premium. They are the best players in the world right now. They really are. We used to make fun of it. Remember how we always overvalued English players? And then with Lampard and Gerrard, there was a gap, and there were some marginal players that we were treating like superstars, and they were not superstars. This next group of players are superstars. And Harry Maguire could be a superstar defender. I think he's very good. That much money? No, but Manchester United can spend it because they're Manchester United, and they have to spend it. And center backs make a big difference. I said Virgil van Dijk would be the MVP of the league. With all the great attacking players, a big center back can change it. Manchester United know that, and they got a Rolls Royce in Harry Maguire. I want to go over some of the young players that are out there that are from England that have been remarkable. Jadon Sancho's at Borussia Dortmund. He is going to be a superstar. I talked about Phil Foden last week. And Pep Guardiola said he may have been the best player he's ever coached. There are great players across the board. Mason Mount is another at Chelsea. Trent Alexander-Arnold at, of course, Liverpool. And Ademola Lookman. I'm looking through these guys. Remember, they won the Under-17 World Cup, England, Under-20, semifinals of the World Cup in men and women. England, they're doing something right in England across the board. So these young players will take their spot amongst the world's elite very quickly. So all right, let's just rip through here very quickly. Number 4, we'll stick with Manchester United. I think if push comes to shove, they will throw more money at this situation. They have some savvy moves. I think guys like Lingard and Rashford will really take another step. I think Anthony Martial, those players they developed, I think they'll be ready to go to the very next spot. United and their coach Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, he's been saying, I'm going to make him the hardest working team. If you can combine finances and hard work, you're going to be good. So Manchester United has a breakthrough, and they will finish in 4th place. Moving to 3rd, and this will be a bit of a surprise, is Arsenal. And before you say anything, and I can't hear you, so you can say whatever you want, they don't have a great center back. I think they're going to have to find that. But I think everything else they've done have shown ambition. And this is another team at the forefront of developing young players. So many so that they're loaning them out. You know where they're loaning out a lot? And Jadon Sancho, not loaning, but a lot of these young players are playing in Germany. There's something to it. There's something in the development of the German game where they come to the English league and they're ready to fire on all cylinders. So Arsenal's going to get that central defense. Pepe, the new player. Remember, this team finished 1 point away from qualifying for the Champions League, right there behind Spurs. And they were also a finalist in the Europa League. So they were this close to having a superb season, this close. They fell a little short, but now they have pushed through. And I think some guys like Eddie Nketiah and others will make this team even more dangerous. Aubameyang and Lacazette, they have had a year to really develop a partnership, and we've seen it in the preseason, of which they have been great. By the way, I was with the Arsenal team in the preseason. I did an event for them out here in Los Angeles. They gave me this. I'm a West Ham fan, so I can't wear it. So this is the official Arsenal polo given to me by the club. I wore it once. I will wash it for you, but I'm giving this away. You see, it's got the new Adidas brand, game changer for Arsenal, so there's more money there. I'll be giving this away. You've got to subscribe to my YouTube page, Max Bretos, and leave a comment why you should have that Arsenal shirt. And you must subscribe. Okay? That's the only thing. So you can come in here. You want to be here. This is a great place. Where else do you get content like this? All right, so there is Arsenal coming in 3rd place. So before we go any further, I know that means Tottenham Hotspur, and that also means Chelsea are on the outside looking in. I would say this about Chelsea. I like them a lot. Christian Pulisic is going to have a chance to stretch his legs out with that club. But because of the transfer ban, I think they are locked up a bit. But I think next summer, this is going to be the team to watch. They have to replace Eden Hazard, obviously. And they're doing that in some way, shape, or form with Pulisic. I think the next season, Chelsea could be a team right at the top. They could go from 5th to 1st and could really surprise a lot of people in the process. But I think this is where they're lying in the bushes in wait. They'll have a good year. It's not their fault. There's just so much quality in front of them. So Tottenham Hotspur, the other team, I think they punched above their weight. I like them a lot, but they're paper thin, and they were not very active. They made one big move in the transfer market. That could change. Mauricio Pochettino showed some disappointment in the offseason just a couple weeks ago. saying he didn't feel like he was in charge. He couldn't really make the decisions on bringing in players. So there is tension there, and I don't like tension, so I'm going to leave Tottenham Hotspur there. So let's get back to the countdown. You've got 4th Manchester United. You got 3rd Arsenal. 2nd place, it will be Manchester City. I think it's going to be very close at the top. I think Manchester City did make some good moves. Rodri is going to be a real good, solid addition from Atletico Madrid. And I think he can do a lot of things in that midfield. But there's 2 reasons why they could have a huge year and maybe even get more than the 3 trophies they had a season ago. And the one they missed is the one that they want the most, and they're going to have to dedicate even more resources to getting the Champions League. But Phil Foden, and I talked about that, I think he's going to break through. And Kevin De Bruyne, which we hope, knock on wood, stays healthy and has a full year, could be the other reason Manchester City could be better than last campaign. I would say David Silva, Kun Agüero are not getting any younger. Vincent Kompany is gone, and that leaves a big hole, even though I think central defense could be an issue. I think they might leak some goals, not just because of Kompany, but Kompany being such a great leader will be missed. Certainly as a central defensive guy, and he was just the identity of the club. But I think Manchester City are prone to focus on the Champions League, and that'll open the door for Liverpool. Again, I think 1st through 6th is going to be a lot tighter than it was a year ago. Liverpool, number 1. I don't think they're going to repeat in the Champions League, even though they're built to be good in the Champions League. They're not sneaking up on anyone, although even if they snuck up on anyone, the MO on Liverpool is they were the hardest working team, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. They were the hardest working team in all of world football. They won the 50-50 balls. They ran nonstop. They never complained. They had great chemistry and symmetry inside their locker room, and that will continue. And they have a manager who, I don't know how you could even argue who was better than him for what he has been able to do. He could have won the Premier League too. Mo Salah had a short African Cup of Nations. I think he'll be active, even though Liverpool did lose to Manchester City in the Community Shield. I think Sadio Mane, the ceiling is still very high. Robert Firmino works very hard for those guys as well. They have good players too. I think they'll make some splashes along the way. And I think Liverpool, because for the same reasons I told you about Manchester City not winning the Champions League, Liverpool's going to want to win the Premier League because it's been a minute. So there you go. Next week, we'll be talking about the Spanish League, and we'll get into that with even more detail. Don't forget the Arsenal shirt. Subscribe to Max Bretos. You can have it. It's pretty. It smells like victory. See you next week.